You're listening to Eureka on Monocle Radio, brought to you by the team behind The Entrepreneurs, the show all about inspiring people, innovative companies, and fresh ideas in global business. I'm Tom Edwards. Now, given the ongoing Olympics in Paris, it's only appropriate that we turn our gaze on today's show to athletic achievement. Madeleine Wallien is a surfer, paddleboarder, sailor, and open water swimmer based in Amsterdam. Fed up with wetsuits and water sports gear designed with male customers in mind, Madeleine set out to create functional and stylish products tailored specifically for women. She launched Wallien just before the pandemic, and since then, the brand has become known for its innovative designs, sustainable materials, and wider support for ocean conservation. I caught up with Madeleine, and she took the plunge by telling me about the start of the journey.
If you go back to the 80s, I was born in 77, and in the 80s you had all the new brands coming up, like O'Neill. There was Stussy there making all the designs, and we had Oxbow, and we had Santa Cruz, which was more skate, but it was all men. And actually we as ladies were wearing the men's stuff, but there was no female focus whatsoever. And I think that it's still the case because most of these brands were born in the 80s, in the 90s, and it was all male focused. And they tend to make like a wetsuit for a male body and then put it on a female, and didn't do any good research or find solutions for the curves females have or the other features they want to have or the way they are doing their sports, which is different from how men perceive and do their sports.
Yeah, and there's a lovely turn of phrase. I think it might be on your website, or maybe I read it somewhere else, which was that what these brands did was get a men's wetsuit and then pink it and shrink it. Was that was the terminology? Is that right? I found that a good phrase.
Yeah, that's actually really right. They shrink the wetsuit and then they said to women, here, you can also wear it. And also, I think sports were really male dominated, and of course, sports is associated with more athletics, right? So, which is a men's trade, but also in the water, men felt better, and it's still the case, I feel. But women are different in their sports. They have different needs. They want to look different. They want to feel different. They want to be approached differently. So we thought, well, we definitely have to do something in this space because it's lacking. Nobody is doing it.
And I think it's fair to say that one of the other non-negotiables, Madeleine, that you had when you got started was the idea that, obviously as someone who loves these, you're a surfer, you do paddleboarding, sailing, open water swimming, all these things, they're all about celebrating and reveling in the ocean. Was one of the other non-negotiables that you had to bake that respect for the sea, for the environment more broadly, into the way you develop the business and run the business? Was that the other kind of fundamental principle at the start?
Yeah, I'm actually a neuropsychologist, and I'm also really interested in all things biology, let's say. So also human, but all the environment, animals. So when I started the brand, I thought I really have to take care of the ocean, right? Because that's your playground. So if we're going to make something, I have to try to do my best and make it the best product. So I'm not going to be like, oh, I want to make the biggest profit. I want to make the nicest products for females and also as sustainable as possible. And then we also partner with Blue Marine Foundation, so because we want to give something back from our profit to the ocean to protect it.
Now, tell me a little bit about the founding team then. How did that all come together, Madeleine? Because is it you work with your brother in the business as well? What's that like? Because one of the things people always say is, what is it? Don't work with children, animals, or your family. But it seems to be working very well. Tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, we have a saying in Dutch that if you stay with your family, it will be okay for 3 days, but after 3 days you have to leave. It was actually when I turned 40, I want to do something else with my life. I think a lot of people have that. So I started to do Amsterdam Fashion Academy, and I thought, okay, I had this career. I can think, I can sell, I can do strategic stuff. But now I want to be more creative because I was a more creative kid. So I did education, but it was not really challenging for me because you had this career and you know a lot of stuff, right? But that's where I learned how to make a collection and what to send to the manufacturers and what they want from me and what the requirements were to set up a business. And then actually my brother, who is also a water sporter, sent me a text. He said, "Oh, you finished your education and I'm buying wetsuits in China and I'm drop shipping them in the US." And I said, "What are you doing?" And he said, yeah, I did this for quite some time. I'm buying diving wetsuits and I'm drop shipping them there. And I think there's a market there. And I was like, huh? So, and then we started to market research for 2 years, I think. We took a long time. But then we saw, okay, there's nothing going on in this market, right? It's all male focused, it's all black, it's all boring, it's really functional, but there's no merger between function and fashion and sports. So we thought, yeah, definitely there's something to do there.
Talk to me about the actual fabrics, because I know that you bring this very rigorous, you've got this academic background, but you bring that approach to materials sourcing. Tell us a bit about the problems with neoprene and some of the traditional materials used in wetsuit manufacture, because you're really deeply involved in this, and it's very important that you source your materials, you use them differently, and you think about the footprints differently. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I think that's really important. So what we're doing, my brother actually has a logistic background, and I'm really interested in textiles. So what we're always looking is into the supply chain and then finding the best textiles to make your product with. And of course, we're not perfect, but for neoprene, there is a documentary coming out and it's called The Big C. The documentary is about a plant in Louisiana, and there they make neoprene. So a neoprene is made from all kinds of chemicals. And when the neoprene is made, or the chemicals for the neoprene is made, there are a lot of emissions that are inducing cancer. Sorry, I have to find the word in English. Around the plant in Louisiana, there are a lot of people living there, and they have like 50% higher chance of getting cancer. So that was really shocking, I think, for the neoprene business, and it's still going on. So when we found out about this case and about this documentary that was coming out, we immediately searched for the best solution there. And we used limestone neoprene, which doesn't have the cancer chemicals in it already, but it has a higher footprint than, for example, natural rubber. So then we changed to natural rubber too, because that's the most sustainable option for now to use in your wetsuit. And I think people now say it's no neoprene wetsuit if you use natural rubber.
Tell me what gives you the most pride, Madeleine, when you, I don't know, maybe you're at the beach or you're traveling, whether for work or for your own leisure or travel, and you maybe see somebody, a customer, wearing a Wallien wetsuit or swimwear. I mean, I don't know, is that the moment when you feel like, wow, look, we really did this thing and we're making a difference? Tell me what that's like when you kind of see the products out in their natural environment, if you like. Do you still get the same kick out of that as you did right at the start of the journey? I'm
really proud, but if we're making like an even bigger impact for me, let's say I'm working with the Senegal surfer girls, and those girls are really role models for ladies out there, or we're doing something with Blue Marine together, and I know it has really impact on the industry, or when I see that women are really happy with our products, then that makes me proud. So not so much as a lot of people wearing that, but more like, yeah, I really want to be here for the female athlete, right? And also in a way that they don't have to be like really sportive, but they also can enjoy the waters just in the weekend, or go swimming, or just feel nice in our products and feel empowered and feel themselves. That makes me proud to think about that.
And then just what in terms of products, obviously there's the people can check out the range, and there's wetsuits, you have swimwear, you have these spring suits, the kind of these like hybrid models. Are you constantly thinking about adding to the range? Or the other thing I was going to ask is, you must get lots of messages from men who say, well, hang on, we like this as well. When are you going to do a man's one? Is that ever on the agenda?
Yeah. In the beginning, we had a lot of questions about that, but not so much anymore. But we're definitely going to expand to also different products, more innovative products. But we want to cater to all kinds of sports and all kinds of water enthusiasts, let's say. So it's from lying on your beach bed into going into your biggest wave and everything in between. And then, of course, you have different sports, but the main sport we're now catering to is surf, kite, open water swimming, and stand-up paddling. And in those sports, you can also develop different products, of course, but it takes a lot of time for a new product to catch on with your customers, so we have to introduce them really slowly.
That was Madeleine Wallien, the founder of Wallien, and you can learn more about the brand by heading over to wallien.com. And that's all for this episode of Eureka. For more great stories from and about the Olympics, do tune in to our daily coverage from Paris in the coming week. We'll be back with this programme at the same time next week, and do look out for the Entrepreneurs. The main programme is available every Wednesday. Eureka was produced by Laura Kramer with audio editing by Jack Dewars. Listen again and find out more at monocle.com, or catch up with the archive wherever you get your podcasts. To reach the team, email Laura on lrk@monocle.com. I'm Tom Edwards. Goodbye, and thanks for listening to Eureka.